Hey, I'm Adam Jusko from ProudMoney.com, and in this video we are going to look at the average income of American workers and also break that down further into income by age, by sex, by race and ethnicity, by types of jobs, all of those sort of interesting things, and you can compare how you stack up with other people that fit your profile. But before we do any of it, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So we are going to take our yearly look at what kind of income U.S. workers are making. In order to do this, I am taking numbers from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. They put out a quarterly report that shows the usual weekly earnings of people that are on salary as well as hourly workers for full-time workers. So we're going to take those numbers and I'm just going to multiply those weekly earnings that they are putting out there by 52, which is roughly what a year is. The numbers I'm going to use are from the third quarter of 2020. Two other notes to make here. Number one, the numbers are actually going to be the median numbers for workers versus the average numbers. So if you're into the math of these things, the median is actually the middle number in a long series of numbers, where the average number is taking all the numbers together, adding them up, and then dividing them by the number of things that you have. So average can sometimes get skewed by the fact of one or two people that make a ridiculously high salary can sort of lift up the average for everyone, where the median number gives you what is right in the middle and is usually a better way to understand what the average person is actually making. And then that second point, as we finish off 2020 and we roll into 2021, none of these numbers that I'm going to talk about really take into account what has happened to the labor market in the age of COVID. So we have obviously a lot of people that are unemployed who were not unemployed before. We have a lot of people who have had hours cut who maybe were working full-time before. Those really just don't show up in these numbers. So when I'm telling you an average or the median of a particular age range or just workers overall, you also should know that we're leaving out some people that just are not working who may have been working in the past. All right, so let's dive right in. The average yearly income of a full-time worker in the US, $51,896. If we sliced off those under 25 and we only looked at 25 plus, that number would be over $54,000. There's a reason to do that a little bit because of the fact that the statistics that the Bureau of Labor Statistics has go from age 16, all the way up. And so you have some people who are making very little money who are included in there as well. So you can see there's a big difference between that 51,000 number and the jump up to 54,000 plus if you only take people who are 25 or older. Now, in terms of men and women, you will see there is still a big disparity between them in terms of what their average income is. Men coming in at over 57,000, women around 47,000. Now, I'm not going to go into a big commentary about men versus women in terms of their earnings here, but I will say that partly you could say to yourself, okay, well, maybe men have different jobs that tend to make more money in different occupations, but there are other statistics in the Bureau of Labor Statistics that kind of don't match up with these ones very easily because of how data was collected, but they show on an hourly basis that even for sort of the same jobs, men tend to make more than women. All right, now let's break it down by education level based on the diplomas or degrees that you do or do not have. Those without a high school diploma, looking at an average income for a year of around $33,000. Those with a high school diploma, but no further, over $41,000. If there is some college or an associate's degree beyond high school, you're then getting up to $47,000 plus. Then when we get into people with a college degree, we can see a big jump there, 70,000 plus if you have your bachelor's, your general diploma from a college. And then if you've gone on even beyond that, then we're getting into 85,000 plus. So your doctors, your lawyers, any advanced degree needed, your MBAs, that's where you're seeing the 85,000. So obviously you can see the huge difference it makes to have a college degree and even more so to have an advanced degree. We're looking, depending on on, which numbers you're comparing at twice as much money that people with those degrees may be making. All right, now let's break it down by race and ethnicity, something that never causes any controversy. Now, I should say before I give the numbers that the labels I'm going to use here come from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So if you don't like how I'm describing a certain group, please blame the Bureau of Labor Statistics and not me. So anyway, those numbers, whites, 52,000 plus as an average income, Black/African American, 42,000 plus per year, Hispanic, 40,000 plus per year, Asian, 72,000 plus per year, far ahead of those other groups. Now let's look at those average incomes, median incomes by type of job. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has to use sort of a broad brush here. There obviously are thousands of different types of jobs, and they have, not arbitrarily, but they have had to make some cuts, I guess, in terms of deciding which grouping each one of these types of jobs falls into. So we'll look at each one and maybe talk a little bit about what I think falls into each one of these groups. So I'm going to go from higher to lower in terms of each one of these categories. The first one is sort of an all-encompassing management/professional category, which I think of as white-collar workers, probably with a college degree. The average there is 72,000 plus. Next, construction/extrusion, 50,000 plus. Next is sales at 45,000 plus. And then we have installation, maintenance, repairs at 47,320. So I tend to think of construction and extrusion as being more outdoor type construction or building construction, installation, maintenance, repair being people that do things inside of a structure that already exists. Again, that's sort of a broad brush here, but that is sort of how I see that breaking down. Next is office administration, so people that work sort of in a white-collar setting but don't necessarily have a college degree at 41,000 plus. Next grouping, production, transportation/material handling at 38, almost $39,000. Who's included there? I think of as being factory workers, warehouse workers, the people that truck all of those things around, whoever is sort of involved in moving actual physical product, including the many people here in 2020 and I'm sure into 2021 who are delivering a ton of things to all of our doorsteps. And then that next group down is service workers at 33,000 plus, over $5,000 less on average than the production/transportation workers, service workers being retail workers, restaurant workers, and obviously there are plenty of other service categories as well, but not a highly paid profession in general. And of course, this year we have all sort of come to appreciate our service workers more than maybe ever before, but I don't know that they're necessarily getting paid anymore because of it. And then finally, the group that they show sort of at the bottom of the list is farming/fishing/forestry at just a little over 30,000. Now let's check out an age breakdown, starting with the very youngest workers, some of who would still be in high school in many cases here. So we're going to go from age 16 all the way up to 65 plus. So those in the 16 to 19-year-old category, $26,676 on average. 20 to 24, 34,000 plus. At 25 to 34, a big jump up to 47,000 plus. 35 to 44, now we're getting into our biggest earning years, 58,000 plus in that group. 45 to 54, 60,000, just about even. And then 55 plus, we start to head back down the curve, but only slightly, 57,000 plus. And then 65 plus, if you are still working, average of 52,312. Probably that age group from 40 to 60 is really the time where most people are making the most money in their careers. That's sort of the heart of your career for many people. After that, some people start to retire early, or they may lose their jobs and not be able to find another one. So that's really the heart of it from 40 to 60, even though they don't break it down that way. That's the way I think of it. And then finally, we'll look at some numbers that show where you may fall within the whole range of other full-time workers out there, from the very top 10% of earners down to the lowest 10% of earners. To reach that top 10% of earners, you'd need to make at least $123,916. At $81,900 and above, you would be in the top 25%. As we said at the beginning of the video, that middle or median number is $51,896, so that would put you right at the 50% mark, half above you, half below you. Now, on the lower end, if you make $34,684 or less, you are in the lowest 25% in terms of earners. If you make $25,480 or less, you are in the lowest 10% of earners. And remember that those are for full-time employment, which the Bureau of Labor Statistics considers to be 35 hours or more per week. So obviously not a ton of surprises there, but I think it's still interesting to see those numbers and to compare those numbers to, whatever you're making, and compare them maybe to whatever vague ideas you have in your head of what other people are making, or how, people compare to each other by age or by race or by sex, all of that sort of stuff. So interesting to see some real numbers put down. Like I said earlier, the Bureau of Labor Statistics does have other reports as well that show some differences based on different parts of the country, and even more specifics in terms of actual jobs where they've cut it down a little more finely. So those are interesting to go and look at as well. They're collected in different ways than this report was collected, so it's difficult for me to sort of compare them apples to apples so that it all made sense. But if you're interested in statistics like I am, you can go and find those things for yourself and check that out. That's it for this video. Questions, comments, put them in the comments section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.